Hello again. The retrial of those accused of killing teenager Nathaniel Julies began on Monday in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court. The state lined up its first witnesses as the trial is being heard for the second time before a new judge. This follows the death of Judge Ramarumo Munama earlier this year. To get some insights on how this retrial will play out and some analysis and what does actually a retrial mean in law, I'm joined by Ian Levitt from Ian Levitt Attorneys. Ian, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA. Thank you very much for your time. Firstly, what is a retrial?
So, Dan, the retrial is essentially exactly that. The trial starts again, unfortunately. But at the previous trial, so to speak, or what has happened up to this date now, doesn't just disappear. It can be used in the new trial to a limited extent and for purposes of possible cross-examination and issues of credibility. But the trial starts afresh.
Okay, it's like it never happened before. You're starting afresh, and this is a delayed trial. So does it happen now that the prosecutor will then get going with his witnesses again, like they're beginning a trial? So everything that happened earlier on under the late judge is not for the record now. It's out.
No, so in fact, it can very well be put before the witnesses and before the new judge, Dan, because people will obviously ask, well, isn't that unfair that somebody would have realized their mistakes in the initial trial and then try to rectify it in the second trial? But it would be a very dangerous route to take for either the state or the defense to adopt a strategy like this, because if the evidence in the second trial, so to speak, contradicts that of the first trial, there will be credibility issues against the witness, which could be devastating to their case, whichever side the witness is on.
Okay, so this case now has been delayed. Are there considerations that the court will have to take into account, because Nathaniel Julies' family has been waiting far too long for justice to be done?
Well, in terms of the Constitution, even the accused have the right to a fair trial, which includes the right to a speedy trial. So from both sides, one would hope that from the state as well as the accused side, one would like to get the show on the road, so to speak. It's a massive tragedy in itself, and for Nathaniel's family to have to relive this once again for death of a child is absolutely, that must be devastating. So the judge, I'm sure the new judge will try, I would hope, adopt a robust approach, would try to get both sides to agree as much as possible at the pre-trial what can be agreed to, and that the duration of the second trial, albeit that it must be fair, must be limited and not any time wasted to get the show on the road.
Yeah, so there should not be any unnecessary or undue postponements.
That's exactly right, then.
Yeah. So what should we anticipate? I mean, knowing that everything is starting afresh, should we expect it to take, for example, that follow the same process of any trial, prosecutor first, the witnesses, the cross-examination by defense, and maybe the defense as well presenting its own witnesses will then be cross-examined by the prosecutor?
That's exactly what will happen. It will follow the process of any trial that starts afresh, but one would hope that at the pre-trial there would be a pre-trial conference that will be set up as soon as possible. At that pre-trial conference, I would hope that the state and the defense thrash out everything possible that can be agreed upon before the trial commences, so that just the issues in dispute, the very limited issues in dispute, can then be fleshed out in the new trial, and that could be a much quicker way of dispensing with what's left of the trial.
Yeah. Besides the death of a judge having brought about a retrial, just generally as we conclude, Ian, what other circumstances would lead, in terms of law, to a retrial of any case?
Then it would be, for example, if a judge had to recuse himself for whatever reason, if he became incapacitated, It would be in circumstances, not only where he passes away, but in circumstances where he's unable by law to continue acting in that function as a judge. So as I said, it's a mental incapacity by illness, by any reason, by recusal, by any reason where he's just unable to proceed by being the judge in that particular case.
Ian, thank you very much for your time and the explanations here, just educating us a little bit about what retrial is all about. So the Nathaniel Julies case, the murder of that El Dorado Park teenager, that trial is now underway. It's beginning afresh after the initial judge passed away earlier this year. There's a new judge now who's presiding over this case, and we are hoping, for the interest of justice and for everybody involved in terms of fairness of the trial, that it will move as smoothly as possible, so at least the family of Nathaniel Julies in El Dorado Park can find closure and they can feel that justice has been served.